Peace and love, everybody. I go by the name Who is Theo. Welcome to my channel. Let's kick this shit off proper, shall we?
Ooh, baby, baby, please don't you be such a tease. If it's loving that you want from me, I got boo-boo.
So I want to thank y'all for stopping by my channel. I want to take a minute to kind of introduce myself, get to know me a little bit, and why I am doing these videos. Ever since I was a child, I've always been curious about many things, but mainly why am I the way I am and why other people are different, right? This inherent need in me to question everything around me has taken me down the path of studying philosophy, psychology, theology, numerology, and my personal favorite, astrology, which is why I'm here today. I wanted to help to introduce anyone who may be new to astrology, who may have some understanding and just want a better, deeper understanding as it pertains to really getting to know yourself, really understanding what's going on in the world at any given time. I just want everybody to understand something real quick. Anything that we go through in life in general, all of this stuff is truly explained in astrology. And if we stop paying attention to everything that's in front of us and start looking up at the sky, start studying what's going on within the universe at large, I think we would be more apt to understand our lives so much better, love ourselves so much more, and everyone around us. That's the whole goal, and that's what I'm here for. So let's get this thing started, okay? So I want to preface by saying that by no means am I like a registered therapist or a professional astrologist or anything of the sort. Like I said, I just want to share the knowledge that I've accumulated that's helped me on my spiritual journey, and I want to use it to try to help you on yours. So on this channel, I'm going to attempt to uncover the deeper meanings of life through the concept of energy, okay? So what is energy? I'll give the definition as it pertains to the law of physics, which defines energy as the property of matter and radiation, which is manifest as a capacity to perform work, right? Basically, energy is a natural life source and it motivates action. Now that action doesn't have to be physical, but it can. That's kinetic energy. It also can be stored or felt energy, which we like to call potential energy. Now just keep in mind, nobody really knows where energy originated, which is why we call ourselves sovereign beings, because we derive our powers from a source that's beyond us, okay? You should make sure that you take in as much information as you can. Knowledge is power. Arm yourself, you know what I'm saying? But sit with whatever information you get and make your own decision based upon that information. Don't marry yourself to anything just because somebody tells you to. Basically, what I'm trying to say is energy is everything, people. It's the cause and it's the effect. It can't be created nor destroyed, only transferred, right? All of the knowledge that we've accumulated over time has in some way, shape, or form been provided to us by studying energy or how things work. I can go on and on and on about energy, but I'll just leave it right there. Energy is everything, people, and it motivates everything around us, and that includes our personalities, which brings me to the subject of astrology. Astrology is the study of the planets in our solar system, their movements and relationships with one another, in order to forecast and understand the energies that we would work with in our lives. Look at it like this. We have our solar system, meaning the direct system of activity in our galaxy, the Milky Way, that revolves around a central star, which is the sun. This solar system houses 8 planets. Each planet has its own energy signature, right? So those 8 planets go by the names Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Now, the energy of Earth is not really studied it's not analyzed in astrology, at least for obvious reasons. I mean, we're here, you know what I'm saying? So what we're doing is we are studying the world around us in order to understand how it affects us. The sun, though it's not a planet, it's a star, we studied that in astrology for its massive effects on us, energetically speaking. And by us, I mean all of the planets, right? We also study Earth's moon, okay? Now, we only have one moon, and it revolves around Earth as Earth revolves around the sun. So its energies affects us on an extremely consistent basis. Now, I would say 9 planets, historically speaking, but the planet Pluto actually received a demotion back in 2008, I think, and it's now known as what is called a dwarf planet due to its lack of overall density compared to all of the other planets. I'm going to include it in my videos because it's still included in your natal chart, and we still study it in astrology. Which brings me to that point. What the hell is a natal chart, huh? So, at the exact time you're born, imagine taking a snapshot of the sky from your actual place of origin. Basically, a natal chart analyzes the planets, their transits around the sky, and their aspects with one another at the time of your birth, resulting in information that gives you a deeper understanding of your personality, your relationships with people, money and materials, your destiny in the world, your past life karmic patterns. Your natal chart or your birth chart, it's like an instruction manual that you come with. Read your damn instructions, people. Please. So in order to have your natal chart drawn up, you're going to need to know the day you were born, the city and state where you were born, and the time of your birth, the exact time. Now, you can get away with being about an hour to 2 hours off sometime, but really the timing is pretty important in order for you to get a definitive idea of your entire chart. So there are 3 energetic aspects that people typically like to focus on in any natal chart. And those aspects are the energies of the sun, energies of the moon, and the energies of your rising or ascendant sign, which is, I'll get to that in a minute. First, we'll start with the sun. The sun represents vital life energy. It's energy related to your core self, your core beliefs, and the things that you come with inherently. So it's not going to be things that are taught to you by society or by your family. It's going to be what you kind of come with naturally. Second is going to be the moon, which zeroes in on what stimulates you emotionally, right? The energies of your moon sign will only become apparent typically to people who've known you for a long time or just know you a little more intimately. Reason being is because the energies of the moon are a little more subdued, and it takes a bit of vulnerability to access that energy. So we have to be in a state of comfort to be able to let that, to show that side of ourselves. Now, the third aspect, and arguably I would say the most important aspect of your chart, is your rising or your ascendant sign, right? Now, that's the sign that was rising on the eastern horizon at the time you were born. If the sun is your core self, your rising sign represents your outer self. I like to say that the rising sign gives a better idea of how you come off to people. And it's actually probably the better sign to look up your daily horoscopes with, because it gives you a more accurate description of your personal identity. And there's a reason for that. And that lies in the houses of astrology. What is a house, right? The houses is actually where the signs, the zodiac signs that we all talk about, that's where they come from. When you look at this snapshot of the sky, your birth chart or whatever, you notice that you have your planets rotating around the sun, and the moon rotating around Earth, and but you also notice that there are buku stars, right? It's a bunch of stars. Like some stars appear closer to us and appear closer to one another and are more visible to the naked eye. Astrologers would notice patterns in certain star configurations in the sky, and they call these constellations. It's kind of like playing connect the dots to reveal a picture of some sort. There are 88 constellations in total in our galaxy, but it's 12 constellations that we study. So these star constellations within each 30-degree segment of the sky going around the sun is where we get our signs from. So starting in order, we have Aries, which that constellation is supposed to resemble a ram. That's connected to your first house. Then you have the sign of Taurus, which is supposed to resemble a bull. That's connected to your second house. Then you move over to Gemini, which is supposed to resemble like two people, so they call it the twins. That's in your third house. Your fourth house is represented by Cancer. That constellation looks like a crab. The fifth house is represented by Leo, which is supposed to resemble a lion. The sixth house is represented by Virgo, which is supposed to represent a virgin. I don't know how you could tell just by looking at them. If that's the case, baby, shit. You know, I'm a virgin, born again. Yes, okay. The seventh house is represented by Libra, a scale. The eighth house is represented by Scorpio. It's supposed to look like a scorpion. Ninth house is represented by Sagittarius, which is supposed to resemble half man, half horse. 10th house is represented by Capricorn, which is supposed to resemble a billy goat, a sea goat. The 11th house is represented by Aquarius, which is supposed to resemble the water bearer. And then you have the 12th house, the most important, which is my sign, Pisces, and that's represented by two fish, okay? So each constellation has its own energetic makeup. This is where we grab our characteristics from in the zodiac signs. Also, each sign constellation represents its own house, like I said, and that correlates to a particular area of our lives. And I'll go over that in much more detail in later videos when we go over the houses, okay? But just to give like a little example, the first house is represented by Aries, right? That's the house of self-identity. Aries is a sign that is supposed to represent self. That house is the first house. It starts with self. However, even though Aries represents the first house, for each person's particular chart, you'll have a different first house. So whichever sign is rising on the eastern horizon at the time you're born, like I said, that's your ascendant sign or your rising sign. It's also the sign in your first house, okay? And that's going to be the sign that represents your personality or just your personal identity, okay? So for example, if you're like me and you have Aquarius rising at the time you were born, then your first house would have the sign of Aquarius, and inherently you would take on a lot of traits and characteristics of that Aquarian energy. Make sense? I hope I'm not confusing you, but I just want to kind of recap over what we've gone over. We've talked about energy, astrology. We've kind of broken down the planets that are analyzed in your chart. We've gone over what a chart is, and then we've also gone over the sign constellations as well as the houses of astrology. So in the next video, I'm going to start going through the sign constellations one by one. I'm going to probably start at Pisces and go backwards to Aries, since, I mean, Pisces is the shit, you know what I'm saying? Then we'll go into the planets and understanding the planets, and then from there, we'll explain the houses. I want to thank you guys for watching this video, taking time out to listen to me. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe to your boy, and then hit that bell icon for the notifications for when I show up again, okay? Also go over to Instagram, follow me there. Let's become friends. I'm at The Real Who Is Theo. Once again, before I leave, I want to emphasize to you all to question everything. Knowledge is power. Arm yourself, okay? Thank you for your curiosity. Namaste.